our final section of the unit. We will be factoring the sum and difference of cubes. So let's recognize and recall numbers that are perfect cubes. So here's our formulas that we'll be using. I'll come back to those later, but first let's talk about numbers that are perfect cubes. So 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64, 5 cubed is 125, and 6 cubed is 216. So that's just 6 of numbers that are perfect cubes. There are more, obviously, but if you can commit these numbers to memory and recognize them as perfect cubes, it will help you to be able to notice the pattern so that you can then apply these formulas. So in example 1, we've got 8x cubed minus 125. So remember that 8 and 125 are perfect cubes. So let's write them as their perfect cubes. So 8 is 2 cubed and 125 is 5 cubed. So now that we wrote these numbers as cubes, we can more clearly identify what A and B are. So the first number or first term that is cubed is 2x, and the second number that's cubed is 5. So I'm just going to follow this formula up here, and I'm going to be replacing all of the A's with 2x, and I'm going to be replacing all of the B's with 5. So first factor will be 2x minus 5, and then our next factor, a squared, but instead of a, we have 2x plus a times b, so 2x times 5 plus b squared, but instead of b, we have 5. Then we would simplify that, so the 2x squared becomes 4x squared, 2x times 5 becomes 10x, and 5 squared becomes 25. Number 2, we've got x cubed plus 8. 8 is 2 cubed, so when I write that as the sum of 2 cubes, now I can follow this formula. In place of a, we would have x, and in place of b, we would put 2. So our first factor will be x plus 2, and then the next factor, we'd have x squared minus x times 2 plus 2 squared. So notice that this sign in our first factor, these will be the same, but then your middle or second sign in the second term will be the opposite. And that happened over here too. So the first one will be the same as what you originally have, but this one here in the middle will always be the opposite. Then let's simplify this trinomial here. The x times 2 becomes 2x, and 2 squared becomes 4. Our final answer is x plus 2 quantity times the quantity x squared minus 2x plus 4. Number 3, we've got 27y cubed minus 64. So let's write that as the difference of cubes. So that's 3y cubed minus 4 cubed. So we're going to be following this pattern. Instead of a, we would have 3y, and instead of b, we would be replacing that with 4. So 3y minus 4 is our first factor, and then 3y squared plus 3y times 4 plus 4 squared, and then simplifying this, 3y squared becomes 9y squared, 3y times 4 becomes 12y, and 4 squared becomes 16. Number 4, we've got 125x cubed plus 8y cubed. We can write that as the sum of cubes. We have 5x cubed plus 2y cubed. So our first factor will be 5x plus 2y. I'm following this formula up here. I'm replacing a with 5x, and I'm replacing b with 2y. So our next factor would look like this. 5x squared minus 5x times 2y plus 2y squared. Simplifying that second factor, 5x squared becomes 25x squared, and then minus 5x times 2y becomes minus 10xy, and then when we're squaring 2y, we get 4y squared. Check you later.